Dystopians aren't just fiction. Today we're diving deep into 10 ways America is starting to resemble those fictional dystopias. From surveillance states to social engineering, from environmental collapse to the erosion of truth, we'll explore the unsettling parallels between our reality and the worlds imagined by writers like Orwell, Huxley, and Atwood. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Let's start with a classic. George Orwell's 1984. You remember Big Brother, right? The ever-watchful eye of the government, monitoring every move, every word, every thought. Chilling, isn't it? But is it really that far-fetched in our digitally connected world? Think about it. Our phones track our location. Our online searches are monitored. Our faces are scanned in public spaces. We willingly surrender our privacy for the sake of convenience, for a sense of security, for a handful of likes on a social media platform. And what about the language we use? The way words are manipulated to control the narrative, to limit dissent. Sound familiar? Think about the rise of political doublespeak, the blurring of facts and opinions, the echo chambers we create online. Orwell warned us about a world where truth is malleable, where history is rewritten, and where independent thought is dangerous. Are we sleepwalking into that very reality? Aldous Huxley's Brave New World paints a different kind of dystopia, one less about overt oppression and more about seduction. It's a world where people are engineered for their roles in society, kept docile by endless pleasure and instant gratification. Now, we're not quite at the stage of designer babies and soma-induced euphoria. But look around. We are bombarded with messages that tell us what to buy, how to look, who to be. We're hooked on instant gratification, on the dopamine rush of the next notification, the next online purchase, the next fleeting trend. Technology, once hailed as a tool of liberation, has become the very instrument of our distraction. We're constantly plugged in, entertained to death, numb to the world around us. Huxley's novel wasn't just a warning about the dangers of technology, it was a cautionary tale about the human desire for comfort and conformity, even at the expense of freedom and individuality. So the next time you find yourself scrolling endlessly through your phone, ask yourself, are you really in control, or are you living in a brave new world of your own making? Suzanne Collins' The Hunger Games captivated readers with its brutal portrayal of a society divided by wealth and status. Remember the stark contrast between the opulent capital and the impoverished districts? The way the games were used to distract and control the masses? While we might not have televised death matches, not yet anyway, the gap between the haves and the have-nots in America is glaringly obvious. The wealth disparity is staggering, with a tiny percentage of the population controlling the vast majority of resources. And what about the way we consume entertainment? Reality TV, celebrity gossip, the 24/7 news cycle, they all serve as distractions from the real issues facing our society. We're constantly bombarded with information, but how much of it is actually relevant? How much of it actually empowers us to create change? The capital thrives on keeping the districts divided and distracted. Sound familiar? Think about the ways in which we are pitted against each other by race, by religion, by political ideology. Collins's book reminds us that a society divided against itself cannot stand. Let's talk about the environment for a second, because no dystopian exploration would be complete without acknowledging the elephant, or rather, the rapidly warming planet in the room. Might seem like an extreme example with its desolate wasteland and gasoline-fueled wars. But are we really that far off from a world ravaged by climate change? Think about it. Extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and more intense. Droughts and floods are devastating communities. Resources are becoming scarcer, and competition for those resources is intensifying. We see the signs, the warnings from scientists, the pleas for action. Are we, like the characters in, just going to fight over the scraps of a dying planet? George Orwell makes our list again. this time with Animal Farm, a satirical allegory of the Russian Revolution that explores the dangers of totalitarianism. While it might seem like a simple fable about talking animals, is a chilling examination of how power corrupts and how even revolutions fought in the name of equality can descend into tyranny. Remember the pigs who initially promised a utopia of freedom and equality only to become the very oppressors they swore to overthrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe now. How the 7 commandments of animalism were slowly twisted and manipulated to serve the interests of the ruling elite. Now look around at the state of our own political systems. How often do we see politicians elected on promises of hope and change become mired in corruption and self-serving agendas? Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 takes us to a future where books are outlawed, seen as dangerous and subversive. Firefighters don't put out fires, they start them, incinerating any trace of literature and independent thought. We may not be burning books, though book bans are disturbingly on the rise, but we are engaging in a different kind of censorship, one that's more insidious, more pervasive. Think about the algorithms that curate our news feeds, showing us only what we want to see, reinforcing our existing biases. Think about the spread of misinformation, the erosion of trust in journalism, the rise of echo chambers where dissenting voices are silenced. Bradbury's novel wasn't just about the importance of books. It was about the importance of critical thinking, of engaging with different perspectives, of questioning the status quo. Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale presents a chillingly plausible dystopia where women are stripped of their rights, reduced to mere vessels for reproduction. It's a world of state-sanctioned misogyny, where women are controlled through violence and the suppression of their reproductive freedom. Think about the efforts to restrict access to healthcare, the attempts to control women's bodies, the rollback of hard-won freedoms. Think about the ways in which women are still objectified, harassed, and discriminated against in our society. It's a call to action, a reminder that we cannot take our rights for granted and that we must fight to protect them for ourselves and for future generations. In Alan Moore's graphic novel V for Vendetta, we're thrust into a future Britain ruled by a fascist regime, where freedom is a distant memory and dissent is met with brutal force. But amidst the oppression, a lone figure emerges. V, a masked vigilante who wages a one-man war against tyranny. He's a symbol of resistance, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can never be truly extinguished. Reminds us that we have a voice, that we have the power to resist injustice, and that apathy is the greatest weapon of the oppressor. It's a call to action, a reminder that we must be vigilant in defending our freedoms and hold those in power accountable. Cormac McCarthy's is perhaps the bleakest entry on our list, a haunting portrayal of a post-apocalyptic world stripped bare of hope. It's a story of survival, of the lengths a father will go to protect his son in a world consumed by darkness. Climate change, economic instability, social unrest, they all point to a future that feels increasingly precarious. McCarthy's novel isn't just a bleak vision of the future, it's a testament to the enduring power of love and hope, even in the face of unimaginable darkness. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always something worth fighting for. In Alfonso Cuarón's film, we're confronted with a world on the brink of collapse, a world without children, where infertility has plunged humanity into despair. It's a bleak and brutal vision of the future, but one that's not without moments of hope and humanity. The film explores themes of despair, hope, and the will to survive in the face of overwhelming odds, challenges us to confront our own complacency, our own inaction in the face of global crises. This is a reminder that we have a responsibility to create a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. The future is not yet written. So, there you have it. 10 chilling ways America is starting to resemble those dystopian novels we thought were just fiction. From the erosion of our privacy to the widening gap between the rich and the poor, from the manipulation of truth to the suppression of dissent, The warning signs are all around us. But here's the good news. It's not too late to change course. We can demand better from our leaders, hold them accountable for their actions, and fight for a more just and equitable society. What do you think? Are we headed down a dystopian path, or can we still turn things around? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe now for more.